Welcome back, super entrepreneurs, to another Shark Tank Tank Tales. I have yet another Shark Tank entrepreneur here for you. But before we do that, I need you to give some super claps for co-founder
Yes.
of Pricklee. Give up some super claps right now, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Start clapping for Super Quan. Woo! Welcome, Quan. How are you
Those
doing
guys.
today?
Doing well, doing well. Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday. Yeah. So I was 10 minutes before this call, I was doing some work on the kitchen table for my company, and uh and the notification popped up that I had 10 minutes to go, and I'm like, I haven't even ate breakfast yet. So I scarfed down breakfast and rushed in here to be here with you. So thank you so much for taking your time on your Sunday. I know it sounds like you have kids that I could kind of hear in the background from time to time.
I got a
So
nine
thank you for
month
taking the
old. I
time.
got a 9 month old, and
Oh, I love it.
awesome. Yeah. So we'll be able to get the interview and spend some time with her today for sure.
Love it, love it, love it. Yes, I got kids. I got to spend some time with them again. We yesterday was rainy, so today we got to go outside and do some things with the kids. But
Mhm.
first, let's talk about Shark Tank and you. What was your relationship with Shark Tank prior to getting to be on the show? Did you love it? Did you never watch it? What was super fan? What?
Yeah,
what
yeah. No, Shark Tank. I mean, for I'm sure a lot of your viewers, it was a pretty big part of our lives. Certainly my wife and I really enjoyed Shark Tank, and it was definitely in circulation as one of our go-to shows together. And so, it was definitely one of those milestones as we thought about our business. Is, oh, wouldn't it be cool to get on Shark Tank? And I think one of the first things that you talk about as a CPG brand. So for it to kind of happen and come together was a pretty special moment, not just for us, but it really was a pretty special moment for our family, our friends, and all those supporters of ours in our network as well. So really cool to see it come full circle.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, did you apply to be on Shark Tank, or did they reach out to you?
So we actually launched in February of 2021, and they reached out to us. I think maybe week two of that, and it was a lot of certainly very lucky and very fortunate. A lot of gratitude for that. I think they've seen an ad or something of that sort. So I guess that was pretty effective in the first couple of weeks of launch. But we had been working through that process for a while, and then finally aired this past May.
Yeah. So it's great. It's really neat to see that they are scouring. You never know who's watching. Whenever you're producing anything, creating anything, putting anything on the internet, you like literally never know who's going to be paying attention, and then want to reach out and be like, "Hey, I'm I'm with Shark Tank. How are you? How are you?"
Yeah. There's a lot of things that are out of your control in business, right? You control what you can kind of control, put out the best energy you can, and hopefully that invites something back and builds your brand for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, that like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like right place, right time, and then but you just don't even know that it's the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Or, in your case, putting the ad together, or whatever they happen to see, right? Whatever you're putting your best foot forward is so important. Again, because you might be doing it to crickets, but those crickets might be really big, important crickets in the world.
Totally, and I think we were capturing a really unique white space where there's it's a new emerging category, but it feels familiar, but different enough that I think really piques a lot of eyebrows and also gets people to kind of connect with something that they can relate to really easily, And I think those are the kinds of products that tend to capture the attention of Shark Tank casting members for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So okay, so you start going through the process of figuring out, like, okay, we're gonna be on Shark Tank. You're filling out the paperwork, but now, like, you got to figure out, like, what's our pitch gonna look like here? How are we going to get our moment in the tank?
Mhm.
And so walk me through some of the thought process of putting your pitch together, and how you went about balancing that. Well, you have a 9 month old, so I guess a pregnant wife at the time, while while going through this process.
I mean, she's been supportive since day one, and it was an awesome journey in that regard alone. Certainly threw some wrenches into filming and everything for Shark Tank, but we were able to get it done. So it worked out really perfectly. In terms of the pitch preparation, I mean, we had a pretty clear sense of how we wanted to initially launch, and that was actually determined by our customers. We'd always get people to come and say like, "Hey, is this like coconut water? Is this like coconut water?" As we head into the year two of our brand, we really want to highlight the cactus and in all its glory. And I think you heard some of that on the Shark Tank pitch as well, that we've really taken into consideration. And so as we evolve our brand, the really focus is just like highlighting just how amazing the cactus is as a whole. But when we first launched, I think that was the first conversation that people kept coming to us with, was like, is this like coconut water? Is it like coconut water? So that's kind of like what gave us that initial frame of reference. And actually, when we started working with our producers at Shark Tank, they kind of really gravitated to that, and really proposed a lot of really creative solutions to how we should pitch. And they're the experts. I mean, that's their job, right? Is to cultivate these amazing pitches and coach us through that process. We were very fortunate to have the producers that we had worked with. And yeah, so over the course of half a year, we just slowly started to refine that pitch, and add our real personal energy, our authentic energy to that experience, and bring it to life. So it ended up being something that we were really proud of, and it was really fun to actually pitch in front of the Sharks when it all happened. That was a pretty cool experience.
I mean, clearly, like you had some kind of thought process here going into these awesome. So, were these custom made, or well, and for people listening at home, the prickly the cactus costumes. I couldn't put words together. It's Sunday morning. Couldn't put words together, but like, who came up with this idea?
These designer cactus suits. Oh yeah, these.
Designer, love it,
No, I
love it.
mean this was us in a nutshell. This is our expression of who we are. We put our heads together. We're like, what's something that we can do that really kind of showcases our personality, showcases how we like to have fun, and how we express ourselves. And so I don't know how the idea came about, but we were sitting around one day, and we're like, we should run around New York City in cactus suits. So we literally did that. Brooklyn, Central Park, Times Square was the first time we went out and did that, and it was probably the most outrageous thing we'd ever done in our lives. And it was also during COVID, so we're running around, and you got these like giant cactuses chasing after you, handing you some hydration, health, and happiness. But it was probably one of the most important things that we'd ever done for our brand, because it allowed us to not only express but also realize that we could give people so much more value than just a hydrating beverage. We could really kind of give them that emotional energy, that experiential energy that was lacking so much over the last couple of years, and it's really what allowed people to really connect with our brand. So there was no question that coming on to Shark Tank, we had to bring those cactus suits and really express that energy for the Sharks as well to see.
And that you did. They were wonderful. I mean, it definitely it made my thumbnail. So thank you for that.
Of course.
Um,
That's our partner,
so
Snorlong. He's just an awesome guy, just like probably the most energetic person that we know. So if you had one thumbnail of a cactus suit, I mean, he's iconic for that.
yeah, well, clearly he owned it, and no, I think that's a great idea. I mean, that reminds me of the what was the name of the bottle with the where you could open the lid on the bottom? I actually have one here somewhere in the house. It was was a clean bottle that
Uh,
was on Shark Tank, where you could open the bottom of the like squeeze bottle,
yeah,
and he got dressed up in one and like ran alongside the Tour de France, I think, just to
gotcha.
be able to gain some kind of notoriety and get known for something,
Yeah.
and get the name out there. So I applaud you for wanting to do something out like a little out different, and put yourself in a position to get noticed,
Oh, it's a
and
blast.
all
It's a
that.
blast, Joe. I mean, we run around all summer. I mean, this summer as well, you'll see cactus suits all around New York City, all around New England, and it's probably one of our favorite things that we get to do as a brand. Like we're running a CPG business, and we're building a beverage brand. I mean, you're supposed to have fun with this, right? And if you don't, it's a really tough business otherwise, right? And so by just really authentically representing ourselves and putting that good energy out there and just hanging out with people and like spreading love, positivity, hydration, like that's what it's all about. So we look forward to that, honestly, and we create a lot of really amazing memories, stories, and meet some amazing people in those journeys. So yeah, we're really looking forward to kicking things back up, as things get to be a little bit warmer here.
That is awesome. That is awesome to hear, and we'll probably continue to garner attention and enable you to
Sure.
get the um I don't I guess cheap advertising or cheap marketing that is so important, especially when you're just getting started. Now, you said CPG. For anybody who doesn't know what that means, what define that for them?
Consumer packaged goods. So you're
There you go.
thinking food, beverage, other consumer goods, toiletries, pantry goods, things of that nature that are targeted towards everyday consumers like you and I.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So, all right. So you're leading up to getting to go to Shark Tank. Are you feeling confident, nervous? What kind of emotions are running through you at that point?
Well, honestly, it was such a one long process, and one that we had so much support with from our producers and the Shark Tank team, that like we didn't really have many nerves. They did an amazing job of desensitizing you through that process. As you kind of come in, you get to see the set, you get to see the sharks kind of hanging out and doing their thing, and then you finally obviously come in and pitch. So we honestly had an amazing experience with it, and again, it's such a long process that there was so much that our business was evolving through. I mean, Shark Tank was a really pivotal moment, especially recording it at the time, right? But we still had a business to build, and so there was so much happening, all summer long, all year long, that it was just sort of another big week, right? Amongst things that were happening. So it didn't really hit us, I think, as much until we actually got there. And we're like, wow, this is really happening. That was really awesome. And it was funny because we had just come from one of my partners getting married, and he had this big wedding of like 400 people. And we had just come from that high. So to go from that to Shark Tank was just such an incredible experience, incredible couple weeks for us for sure.
Oh, that's all. That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, okay, so you're walking down the hall. I always want to say aisle because
Yeah.
it's yeah. As you're walking down the hall, how are you feeling at that point? You feeling ready to go, nervous?
Oh, we were
What's on
locked
your
in,
mind?
Joe. We were locked in. We knew we had obviously rehearsed this pitch quite extensively. We had seen the space, so we knew exactly how we were going to interact with it. And we had a really clear strategy of exactly what we wanted to go in there to do, and what we wanted to accomplish, based off of watching all those Shark Tank episodes, watching some of your videos, and also even just understanding what Shark Tank is, right? And what we can really do here, and how do we partner with these individuals? What are we really looking for in this partnership? And for us, again, it wasn't again about the cash. It was about the partnership with them, and it was about bringing a shark onto the team, and making sure that it was strategically a good decision for the business as well. So that was sort of our perspective going in. So we were very locked in with our pitch, but also with the strategy that we wanted to go into Shark Tank with.
Mm. So you get started, like what how are you how did reading the room, did you think that was going the way you expected it out of the gate, or
Yeah, Shark Tank is obviously it's a non-scripted show, but you're in there for a lot longer than the 8 minutes or so
yeah, eight-ish
that
minutes,
they
yeah.
pitch. So our experience was just a tremendously, I would say, positive one. And there was a lot of moments in there that didn't make the cut, that were just really really cool moments too that we experienced. But man, I was one, you walk in and like all the sharks. I mean, they're all there, and it's real, and they're just gorgeous. There's such an amazing aura to these humans, and there's a lot of really good energy in that room. But yeah, we pitched, and actually we had a really good time in there with all of them. I don't think there was really much. There wasn't a lot of negative energy at all. I would say there's everyone. Kevin himself. He's half Lebanese. Actually, we brought that up, so obviously connected with Grandma Mo. And his recipe growing up. But he really enjoyed the product, and the entire conversation with everyone was really really positive. And it was, and some of the sharks also really productive for us, right? This is the one time in probably your life that you'll be sitting around with such successful human beings, and for them to give feedback to you and for you to take it and then improve your product and improve your business. That was extremely helpful for us. So we really enjoyed our 45 minutes. It went almost to the exact strategy that we'd mapped out. In fact, the deal that we walked out with was absolutely pre-discussed as the deal that we wanted to walk out with. So all of this stuff kind of we kind of came out of that and we're like, wow, that like really went a lot better than we had ever anticipated, and it felt like we again were in control the entire time.
Yeah, let's talk about that, right? Because you went in looking for 200,000 for 5%.
Yeah.
Was what was the strategy behind looking at that valuation and
Yeah,
that
I mean, like
percentage?
we wanted to make sure, we have existing investors and partners, so it was important for us to, make sure that we took in consideration their investment and that fiduciary responsibility, but also that, understanding that we're an early stage business, right? So this is a beverage business, as you heard on the show, with distribution, with growing your operations team, your sales team, and expanding your brand across, nationwide to get it to the point of wherever it needs to go, right? Whether that's acquisition, whether that's profitability, like you have to raise a good amount of capital to do that, right? And I wouldn't say the Shark Tank is the most efficient place to raise capital. I think it's probably quite the opposite, right? So really, when we kind of went in, we had to consider like, okay, well, if this is the long term strategy, we have to make sure that any deal that we take would not jeopardize the eventual need to raise additional money and make sure that we had the equity to finance that, right? So that was an important consideration. So we started with a point that we felt comfortable with, but we also knew that there's no way, very unlikely that you would end up with the deal that you kind of walked into. So as we thought about our strategy, like what were our goals? Our goals primarily were not to go raise money. Our goal was to potentially bring a shark onto our capitalization table, aka bring them into the business as a partner, while giving up the least amount of equity possible. So that was really our strategy, and again, as you can kind of see, it worked out in the way that we would have anticipated, and yeah, we're really thankful that it all kind of played out.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times, and I know I've said this like countless times in the show, like, people coming in, like, if you would come in and be like, well, we want $400,000 plus, and it's like, we're only going to give up 5% for that. And it's
Mhm.
like, so many times, if you're not willing to negotiate up in the percentage, it's generally not going to work out well
Yeah.
unless you have like a real home run there. Um, was there like a hard line, if you can say, of percentage that you were willing to give up at the time?
We were really hovering around the 5 to 10. That was sort of like where we were thinking, but again, like we anticipated that they would counter at 20, 25%. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And then we would kind of again see where that conversation would go, if royalties would come into play, which again also came into play as we had projected. So when we kind of landed on our 5% back at $200,000 line of credit, that was sort of our essentially our strategic decision, even walking into it, that was sort of what our bottom line offer was going to be, really, because we figured that would give the value that these investors are looking for. At the end of the day, they're investors, right? They're looking for a return of their cash and capital, but we wanted to align it with the incentive of like building this with us, right? Not just to literally look at this as like an investment of dollars and having royalties pay that in threefold, for example. That wasn't interesting to us. But what was interesting is bring them in for a long-term partnership, but de-risk it for them so that they don't have to worry about making their money back on quote unquote beverage deals that you think anytime a beverage walks into the tank, it's always a little bit of an uphill battle. So we want to de-risk it for them in that way, and that's what the structure of our deal was. And so I think it achieved that.
I think that's a great point that beverage companies historically have not done very well in the tank. And apparently, I mean, you didn't mention this earlier in the interview, but apparently that didn't dissuade you at all, did it?
No, not at all. I mean, we went in there very comfortable with walking out without a deal. We wanted, but also we wanted to walk in there with a deal structure that would allow us to actually, take the deal moving forward or consider it heavily after airing. if we made it to that point. I think sometimes you look at Shark Tank deals, and there seems to be this pressure that companies face where they come in and they either undervalue their company significantly, or in the process of negotiation give away like a fifth of their business, right? And those aren't deals that end up, I think, happening afterwards because you realize it's not feasible, right? So we walked in purely with the idea that if we are to take a deal or offer a deal, it has to be something that we can consider. Otherwise, what's the point? And then number two, we wanted to again, just have that opportunity. And if we walked away without a deal, we were very, very okay with that too.
Mm. No, I think it's important to have a position of being able to walk away,
Yeah.
no matter what it is. I mean, look, you go to the car dealership, you need to be able to walk away, right? Like if you can't walk away, you're gonna walk in, you're gonna walk away with something that you probably didn't really want.
Yeah. Totally.
Um,
Totally.
so in any case, in any form of life, whenever it comes to negotiations, you should generally have a path to walk away. Keep your options open, and it's not the end all be all. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's still a chance your episode never or your pitch never airs on Shark Tank, but you're already there. You've already done the work, and if it you lasted 45 minutes, there's probably a good chance that you're going to make it through and air. In which case, you're gonna get a bump out of it regardless, right? As long as you're prepared, the business is prepared to be able to handle it.
Right.
So I think that was smart to be able to have that opportunity to walk away. And yeah, I mean, like, did you have a shark in mind that you wanted to work with specifically?
Um,
I mean, other than Barbara, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, we were pretty open-minded. We did lean towards those that had invested previously in CPG products and specifically beverage. So Barbara was definitely on that list. Lori, Mark to an extent, but also, we certainly were leaning more towards, just again more of a female shark, mostly because our team is so predominantly male dominated, right? And so to have additional perspective, we tend to look for that, right? Even in our partners, our design partners, we like to bring in fresh perspectives to keep it not only interesting, but it's important, I think, for any brand to make sure that you're speaking to a broad audience, especially with a product like cactus water that is a very broad product that can address a lot of people's needs. You want that perspective. You want different ideas and things to challenge you and to get you to think in a different way. So I think for us, having somebody that is so connected as a strong female founder, a female shark, that would open our eyes to that and help us, build additional connections in that way. That was definitely a consideration for us as we were thinking about who we wanted to work with. So yeah, Barbara is definitely a dream come true. She was definitely one of the sharks that we were targeting for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense, right? To go with to try to target people who already have that in their background. They know the ins and outs, and especially because you're not just looking for the money, you're looking for an actual partner who can help guide that, guide the position of the company. So if that's the case, generally speaking, you would want somebody who's already been there, done that, and can avoid some of the pitfalls that you might come up against.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, so you get to walk out with a deal from Barbara. All the knowledge and all the things that got said throughout, throughout your 45 minutes there in the tank, and you start to head back. Talk about the like after like what happened after you left the tank.
Yeah, after we left the tank, we were in LA for, I think, a few days, right? The day before, and then maybe a day and a half after. So we went right back to work. We had our cactus costumes, so we're like, hey, let's go down to Venice Beach. Let's hand out some prickly, and have a good time. So we went straight from that to our hotel down by Venice Beach, took out our cactus costumes, went down to the boardwalk, hung out with the locals. We went on the swings. We were the ropes thing with the Venice Beach folks, and we just went out and passed hydration out and just spread some love. It was an awesome afternoon. Like I said, that's probably our favorite part of this building this brand, is just building it with people and meeting cool people. So yeah, it was right back to work after Shark Tank.
Yeah. I mean, look, and that's generally how it should be, right? The celebration isn't right. It can't be right then because obviously there's still due diligence and there's some opportunity for the shark to maybe not want to do the deal, and it's not going to happen overnight anyway. So like you don't want to get caught flat-footed. Like oh, it's been like 2 months later, and like what's been going on since? Well, we were just celebrating so hard because Barbara's on the team
Sure, sure.
and not a lot's happened since that. So you don't. That's the conversation you don't want to happen and have. So that's good on you guys for going out there and going to Venice Beach is very cool. I've been there. I think at least once or I think once I've been there. I've been to Santa Monica twice, but and I love the term passing out hydration. That
Yeah, I mean, like again, right? You control what you can control, and for us, growing the business is all we know and all we do. So, yeah, you just continue with that mindset and let everything else, take its course. And again, as long as you continue to put out good energy and you build the brand the right way, and you go out there and give people value, and you continue to reinforce that, good things happen for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you get back, you start getting back to work. What's some of the first things that you went and started to implement or take to do in preparation for potentially airing on Shark Tank at some point in the future?
Yeah, I mean, the preparation I would say for the airing was a lot more recent, in the last, I think, month and a half or so as we kind of locked in an air date. But post Shark Tank, which was a pretty extended period of time, our focus was really taking some of the lessons that we had learned on Shark Tank. Again, like you don't get this opportunity to be in front of these brilliant business minds very often, right? And so for us, like being on Shark Tank was just as much about conversing and potentially striking a deal as it was learning, right? And really pressure testing our pitch, our product, and really listening to what feedback we were getting and seeing how that could help inform our growth as a company. Leading up to Shark Tank film date, we had already anticipated that we were going to work through a brand refresh, and really, again, as I alluded to, really honor the cactus and what it symbolizes for us and what we learned through this process of building this brand that the cactus represented. And the cactus to us symbolizes this like incredible, almost like human like character that's resilient, that's full of love and positivity in like the harshest environment on the planet, right? So
No, it is human. It is human.
it is human. That's a bell right there, and I think it was just it's intentional, right? We want people to see themselves as these as these figures of resilience, of love and positivity, no matter how tough things can get, no matter what environment you are, and it speaks to the times. And we learned that through our first year of being out there, of being in our cactuses, interacting with people. And so we knew, even heading into Shark Tank, that we had to recreate our brand and refresh our brand to really reflect that. And being on Shark Tank and having those conversations, I think, validated that even further and really, put a fire under our business to really make that happen and work towards that. So really, for the last 7 to 8 months, we've been actually working on a whole refresh of our company, of our brand, and building it from the mission of really spreading that love, positivity, resilience, and honoring the cactus. So coming back from Shark Tank, it really just set that course into motion, and we've been grinding towards that for quite a while. And we're excited to share some big updates over the next couple of weeks as we head into the summertime as well, for sure.
That is great to hear. It's kind of rare that such a young business gets the opportunity to have so many successes, and then on top of that, go back and like almost reinvigorate and uh, refresh itself in a way that once you were to say get bigger is that much harder to do,
Yeah,
right? So
very,
so
very
it's
good.
almost like getting like to hit the reset button, but you still have all the wins under your belt to do that. So that is awesome. Now, one thing I didn't get to ask, or I don't recall in the inter or in the Shark Tank pitch is this your was this your first business?
It's our first business. Yeah, we come from healthcare. So we all met after pharmacy school in Boston, and that's where Mo had introduced his family recipe to us. But we didn't come from business, and we're first generation Americans, so I think that there's always been this like appreciation of blue collar work growing up, but being in a white collar industry kind of allowed us to see a little best of both worlds, and I think gives us the superpower to be entrepreneurs, because we understand not only how important it is to really have a strong strategy and really think about what you're trying to build and the importance of building by mission and vision, but also just the grit to be able to do it, and the grit to be able to stay up 2 a.m. packing boxes in a warehouse and sending it out, and answering customer service emails one by one, and DMing people on Instagram, and all the stuff that nobody wants to do but has to be done. Otherwise, you don't build a business, right? So, we didn't come from that, but I think we had the right mentality for it. And quite honestly, when we first started, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into, right? I mean, and I think if we did, it may have even given us analysis paralysis. But everything about our journey has not been about finding the perfect solution, but about finding a better solution, and finding the right problems to solve. And as we continue to build day by day, it just allowed us to create momentum and bring in more energy, more human energy to the brand, and that reinforced what we were doing. And we have always really built with a very open mind and without ego, so that we understand that chances are we're probably wrong. We don't come from this world, so let's listen to people that probably have done this, and listen to our customers, and really hear the pushback we're getting and listen to it, right? And again, this is how we got to where we were. Like, this is how we built brand. When we first started, we had arguably a product and a benefit, a cactus water, antioxidants, immunity, recovery, all those benefits. But what we were missing was brand. And we found that spiritually through this first year of launch, just again, being out in cactus suits, meeting amazing people, telling our story, and just seeing the energy that came back, how we could really, again, create a product that didn't put us as heroes. The cactus is the hero. We're just the caretakers, the guides that help to tell its story. And that story came authentically through, again, meeting people, and coming from healthcare, where I think our thinking was always so rigid. Being in an industry that's so consumer focused, so human focused, I think, Prickly taught us how to be human. And for us, a lot of this is just now expressing and representing the brand in a way that just makes people feel love, positivity, and resilience. That's what the cactus is about.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Taking it to, as the song says, taking it to the streets, and
Yeah.
making sure that you're, getting that feedback, and not just putting up the website and like, okay, great, we're live, and your mom goes to the site and clicks buy, right? And it's like, okay, and then there's just crickets. Making sure that you're putting yourself in the position to be able to get that feedback, get people excited about it, and understand, like, easily understand the benefits, but also the human side of the brand that you're building.
I
That's
mean,
that's so
that is
important.
nail on the head. I mean, what you said right there is the whole thing, right? It's just about, you talk about iterations. Why do we continue to iterate so quickly and so drastically sometimes, it seems? It's because if you know in your heart of hearts that there's room to improve upon your core product, the most important thing is your product, right? Does it taste good? Is it good for people? Does it communicate what you said? What you intend to communicate in an easy fashion, when people might have 1 second, 2 seconds to see it, and then understand not just what your product is, but what your brand represents. What energy it emits, what kind of ecosystem it kind of brings together. That requires a lot of refinement, and it requires a lot of open-minded refinement and a lot of feedback. And I think the companies that are able to maintain an open mind, and that in the beginning pivot very, very quickly and learn to communicate and simplify, right? It's all about simplification. Like, I don't think there's a person in this universe or the history of the world that have thought about cactus water as much as we have, right? And so, just like, how complicated can it be? Turns out pretty complicated, right? And a lot of it is just refining all that information that you get, quantitative and qualitative, and refining that into a very simple story for people to understand in just seconds. That is the hardest journey. And I think until brands, specifically, I can only speak from experience in CPG beverage side, until beverage brands really, I think, understand authentically, genuinely what they are, who they are, and how to express that in a very concise way, scaling just is a very costly and probably likely unsuccessful endeavor, right? So pivoting until you get to that point of like clarity, confidence in your product, your brand, your storytelling, your copy, your whole thing, that's the right time to scale. And that's why we've been, transitioning so quickly and growing and learning and pivoting so much in our early first, year and a half.
It's hard. It's almost hard to believe that it's only been a year and a half for you because of the way that you speak. It sounds like you've been talking about this stuff all your life, and so obviously a quick learner, and not just to learn to understand, but a learn to be able to speak to it. Congratulations for that.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, again, we've had amazing advisors, amazing mentors that without them, we wouldn't be here today. Talk about building, you needing a village to build. I mean, there's just individuals that have had such an outsized impact on our development as humans, as leaders, as businesses, that without them, we definitely wouldn't be here today. And, again, that's why you have to find people that are way smarter than you and just learn from them and be open-minded. But we had been working on the beta of this product for almost 2.5 years before we launched, and in that 2.5 years, we had been in farmers markets in Boston. We were in a couple local markets. We were demoing every weekend. We were just learning the business, which was so much more complicated than I think we had ever anticipated. Because we live in a world now where it's not just retail anymore, right? You also have your direct-to-consumer e-commerce side of things. How does that integrate with your primary retail business? How does the wholesale business evolve? How does the evolving landscape of commerce, grocery, online, quick service restaurants, the rapid delivery services? I mean, the changing landscape of how consumers are buying beverages and consumer products is so quick, so fast, and sometimes there's always that new like shiny toy. And what we've noticed is that it's not so much over emphasizing a specific channel. It's about understanding how they all interplay and then building a strategy that makes sense with however you're financed to be able to execute growth in the most controlled manner as possible, right? Just as like you want to control your story, your brand, you need to control your growth. And the only way to do that is to really understand all these different channels and clearly understand how they impact your business, maybe where your business fits, and then build a strategy around those channels.
It definitely ding ding. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you sent me over a sample case of Prickly here, which I have yet to try. Looking forward to it. Gonna try it with the kids. Um the something else that came to mind is I personally didn't realize some of the nuances in the water business specifically until I started working with a client a few months back who
Mm.
was trying to break in, or is trying to break into the sparkling water business.
Yep.
And it's actually very it's very hard. More so on the whole, like his whole thing was the packaging, right? Because he's trying to make a high end sparkling water package, and it's like that's going to be very expensive. To get the packaging alone is going to be very pricey
Sure.
for what they had designed and all that. And just going through all the nuances of and learning that industry. I always say, like, look, if you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're not growing, then you're dying, right? So
Yeah.
to me, like, I'm always learning. It doesn't matter if they're paying me to work, to work with me. I'm learning too, and I'm taking those notes as well. I've met many clients that I'm learning every step of the way because I don't know their industry. I
Right.
wasn't, I'm not a travel agent, right? I'm not a baker, but I know numbers and I know how to put things together, processes, and make things simpler and all that. So for me, it's always about learning.
Yeah.
And so what have you learned as far as it goes with your packaging that you have currently?
As in terms of specific to packaging, what we've learned.
Yes, like what, like as far as like what you're, because I mean a lot of what you guys do is the packaging,
Yeah.
right, and the branding. So what have you learned since Shark Tank that has maybe helped you? Because you alluded to being several months into
Yeah.
reinvigorating the business and the packaging, maybe some messaging.
Yeah, I think a couple things. I would say there's one component which is like the tactical side of like literally how do you make this package better, and those are some pretty obvious ones, right? Like if you look at when we first launched Prickly, we called it a superfruit water because we were like, are people gonna like cactuses? Is that going to be something that like pushes people away? But then you realize like you're a cactus spotter at the end of the day. Like you need to own it. If you're not going to own it, who is, right? And if anything, it's a great opportunity to really break down this barrier and get people to see that you guys you guys are huggable, friendly, happy cactuses of love, positivity, and resilience, and get people to appreciate the beauty of the cactus. Like that's an amazing opportunity from a marketing standpoint and from a brand standpoint to tell an amazing story of, again, resilience, of love, positivity. And so like as we went into it, that also helped us inform how to better package, right? So as you look at our current packaging, it's hard to tell that, aside from reading cactus water, is it a cactus water? How do you even see a cactus? Is there a cactus on it, for example, right? And then I think, Mark brought some good points. Like, how do we just call out the antioxidants more clearly from the get-go? How do we talk about the benefits of this drink in a way that, just maximizes the real estate on that can? And so we saw a lot of opportunity to improve. I think even before Shark Tank aired. And again, with Shark Tank, I think we just realized that we had to make this even transition even faster. So a lot of the changes from a tactical standpoint are about highlighting the cactus and making people see cactus fruit drink and the flavor of the drink almost within the first second, right? And then the rest of it is just delivering the benefits and the taste inside the can. That's on the tactical side. On the other side of really, how we think about packaging and what we've been working on over the last 8 months, and this extends even prior to Shark Tank, was us trying to really understand what our brand meant for us and to us, right? Initially coming out really focused on just the product and the functional benefit of antioxidants and immunity, and realizing that, again, the cactus itself is such an amazing symbol of love, of positivity, resilience. That's really something that we resonate with in our story as humans authentically, but also something that I think the human spirit really resonates. You look at the last couple of years, I mean, it's been tough for everybody, not just our team, but so many of our friends and family and people in our network. But you see people continue to just, love and give and support and build and grow and create and show up. And that speaks so much to how powerful and perseverant the human spirit is. And when you look at the cactus as this like symbol of like, it's just like winning, in the desert, the hardest environment in the world, you kind of see that our brand has this ability to just give people that confidence to see themselves in that way and realize that we're all cactuses at the end of the day, and this is the hero. We can really channel that the power of this plant as inspiration to be better. And so we knew going in that the brand from a bigger perspective had to reflect that. So yes, like the things I was telling you about tactically, we had to show a cactus, we had to show fruit, we had to have better color differentiation for our flavors. But I think the most important thing is our packaging, our logo, our can, our entire brand. It had to come from a place of a genuine and authentic mission, and we found that again through being out there with people and being on Shark Tank and really soul searching. And at the end of the first year, we realized like that was our mission, is again to really champion this cactus as a symbol of love, positivity, resilience, and just inspire people with that kind of energy through everything that we do. And so that I think was the bigger part of what went into our repackaging and what we learned about how to make this package and product truly reflect what we're trying to accomplish. So that's the stuff that's the hard stuff. It's not the tactical stuff that I think people make mistakes on. It's does this product authentically represent you? That is the hardest thing to do, and the only way to find that is to really put something out there, let people interact with it, get good feedback, and do a lot of soul searching, to find something that feels right, because people can feel it. People can really feel it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I put this down on my desk. Now you can't see it from this angle, but when I looked at it, I'll tell you what I see right there. Ocean spray. That's what I see,
Yeah.
and the color of the what is it, cranberries? You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like
Yes. Yes.
that. Like if you just showed me that, I'd be like, oh, that's ocean spray.
Yeah. Totally.
Product. So it's one of those things where it's like everybody sees something different through the lens in which they have, and what you think is showing the product is because you're just too close to the too close to the tree to see the forest kind of thing.
Totally.
um, or the forest to see the tree, the individual tree. So, I think I think that's really important, especially because like looking at it now, like the cactus is like overran over by the water there.
Well, you also ask, like, can you even tell that that's clearly a cactus? And I would debate probably not, right?
I
And
would
so,
say, yeah, I like I said, the pink at the top, or is it pink, red, raspberry
yes,
colored?
those are the prickly pears. But let's say for like the average consumer, they're going to know what that is, and I would say unlikely, right, to be the case. So
But they know what this
they
is.
know what
They
that
know what that is.
they know what that is exactly. So I mean, these are all really really important learnings, and again, why you have to move quickly in this industry to not just survive but to grow. To your point, to learn and to make bold decisions. Sometimes even when it feels like it's a big one, it's going to take a lot of time, energy, resources. But again, going back to it, I think until a beverage brand really understands what they are, what they offer, how they differentiate, how they authentically express that in a way that people get like that, if you're not there, is scaling and throwing a lot of resources to get this in a lot of places, it's going to ultimately hurt you, right? Because nobody knows what that product truly is, right? And I think that's the work that needs to be done in the beginning before you start scaling.
Oh, absolutely, because you'll be scaling the wrong thing in the wrong direction, putting
Yep.
up a lot of money thinking this is going to work, and then you find out the hard way that you're going to be in trouble real fast.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up here, speak to the future. What does the future of Prickly look like?
Very, very bright. I mean, this is, I mean, we were very fortunate with timing, and I mean, this Shark Tank aired in the beginning of summer 2022, right? It's May. I think there's a lot of pent up energy over the last 2 years for people to start living again, start traveling again, and just start experiencing life again. And I think we all need it. Quite frankly, we all need it. There's a lot of negativity in the world, and so for us to be a brand that can really promote love, positivity, resilience. I think that's something that people are craving and is very timely, and people will connect with. But more so, I think just our growth to understanding what we are and the timing of again Shark Tank, the timing of this brand refresh, the timing of all the things that we're going to be doing this summer in our cactus suits and engaging with people. It's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to introduce a lot of new energy to the brand. It's going to allow us to continue to tell our story now in a way where we're really confident in that story and in the value that we can give to people. So now we just want to shout it out as loudly as we can, right, at the top of our lungs. So this summer is really going to be about, yeah, just like rolling it out and getting more and more people to try the product, to grow our retail business. And we'll see. There might be a couple of really interesting innovations that we want to throw out, over the course of this year and into next year. We have a pretty ambitious goal of where we want to build this company to and what this company is about, and yeah, there'll be a couple of really interesting surprises as we start to look at the next 12 to I'd say 18 months.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So before I taste this, with the kids, is it supposed to be chilled?
Oh yeah, definitely
Okay,
drink
it's definitely
some.
chilled. Okay.
Yeah, especially it's a beautiful day today, right? So it's a nice thing to just take the kids out for a walk or hang out in the park and sip on some of this stuff. It's really really refreshing. I think it's going to be an amazing summertime drink, not just by itself, like after a workout or after just hanging out, but it's a great mixer too. Whether it's for your smoothies or whether it's a mocktail or even a cocktail. You throw some prickly in with your alcohol of choice, maybe some fruit puree. That makes a mighty mean cocktail that we actually had at our watch party this past Friday too. So definitely can attest to the deliciousness of it as a mixer.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you have a good time at your launch party?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was we had team members, we had family friends coming from Canada, from Texas, from Minnesota. We had our designers come in from Colombia, and
Wow.
we had actually made our first ever new cans and we gave it to them as a souvenir because it was like all the hard work that we had put into this for the last 8 years. It's like, or 8 months. It's like here in physical format is all that, and this is it. And again, like the Shark Tank thing was really cool, right? It's an amazing moment. It's an amazing experience. And we were there, and there was a lot of good energy in the room. But when we were there, actually, funny enough, we didn't even take a look at the sales and things and how they were doing on Friday at all. Not even for 1 minute because it wasn't about that. It was about the fact that it created this moment for all these amazing people to get together, and it was all, again, love, positivity, and it was all resilience. I mean, people that come from around the world in this time frame to be together. It was just about how do we give them the most memorable experience that they can have, and how do we give them value and make this worth their time. And so it was just an awesome environment, honestly, and with our community, and we hope to grow that community. And you'll have to come to the next party too. It might be group karaoke, Joe. So that might
Yeah.
be the next.
That would be, yeah, definitely. Now you held that, you said it before that you held that in New Jersey?
We held that in Jersey. My team is down in New York, and my partners are between New York and New Jersey. I'm the only one up in Boston. So the home base for us really is New York, and that's where you'll see a lot of cactus suits this summer. But yeah, we have some great friends out there, down in Jersey. This location called 46 Lounge in Tatoa is where we held it. So definitely check it out. It's the home of the cactus shot.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'll write that down. It's probably a little further, quite a bit further north from me because I'm just outside of Philadelphia. But yeah, I mean, I go up to New York. I mean, it's only thanks to the illness. It's not been as often as I would like it to be, but used to go up quite a bit, like 3, 4, 5 times a year.
Yeah.
To New York. I have a lot of friends up there and things like that. But um, no, that is awesome. Now, did you have any? I gotta ask, did you have anybody paying attention to make sure a site didn't go down? There wasn't any customer service issues or anything
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
we had a pretty extensive Shark Tank strategy across all of our paid media, obviously our email, lead collection, customer service ticket system, and all our inventory was all preset. Certainly we have some orders that we need to work through still, and we're still working through, which is a great problem to have with our new production run as well. But yeah, we it was as smooth as it could be, and I think that potentially speaks to the preparation to allow us that moment to be with our people and give them value. Because what you don't want is a fire drill that night, right? And
Yeah,
then that puts a damper on the whole thing. So yeah, I think we were, kudos to the team. They did an exceptional job, getting prepared and putting in all the systems in place that we just could really, yeah, enjoy the moment. So they did an excellent job executing that. I could not be more proud of them.
that ding ding. That is awesome. Preparation makes all the difference in the world when you're talking about like literally a moment, right? A moment being a few hours in a not in an evening into probably into Saturday or into the next day. But even still, like that is like in the grand scheme of things, it's a moment, and being prepared for that moment it just goes so much further. And having plans and backup plans and people that are there, and then to take the time and embody the brand that you've went ahead and created to say, these people came from all over the world to be here. I want to be available. I want to be here for them, right?
Oh,
Let's
it's enough.
take what we can, let's make sure that we don't have to be disturbed for that.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson right there.
Yeah, the motto we live is like ask nothing of anybody and give everything to everybody, and I think that when you do that and you just create value for people, value comes back because people want you to create more value for them. And so that's how we kind of think of it. We're like, all right, this is a great party, but the next time, more people are invited and it's gonna be a better party, and it's gonna just be just like giving people experiential and emotional value. That's what this journey is about. And that's really what we get to take with us at the end of the day. So, like, just creating these memories, making sure that anytime we interact with anyone, it's just all love, it's all positivity, just giving them that you know, added sense of energy to help them through their day. Whether it's in a cactus suit or it's not. But that's all we're here for. It's just to spread love, positivity, encourage resilience. That's what the cactus is. That's what we represent, and that's what we want to build a brand around. So hopefully that clicks with some people out there.
100%, 100%. Quan, thank you so much for being here today, taking the time away from your wife and your baby. Congratulations on the baby. I know I'm 9 months late, but congratulations on the
Hey, you as
baby.
well. You know, you're doing the good work and the hard work on the Sunday morning just the same. So I appreciate the opportunity quite a bit. Thank you for covering. You know, it's probably one of the first videos that are searched as soon as we mentioned Prickly and Shark Tank, and I saw that happen yesterday. So you know, appreciate you covering us. It's been, you know, honestly my pleasure, you know, spending this morning with you, and keep up the amazing work, Joe. You know, you're doing some
Oh,
good work.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, I mean that is part of the sacrifice. Getting these videos up
Yeah,
literally the night that they air it's part of I mean, I sacrifice my Friday nights with my wife
you do.
to be at my computer from like 8 to midnight, every Friday. Like, well, the season finale is this upcoming Friday, and Kevin Hart's going to be on it. Woo! Uh so hopefully we get some great really big numbers, but um it all does come with the sacrifice, and with the season finale, at least I'll have the summer off. Well, I'll be creating content and stuff in between,
Yeah.
but not my Friday nights will be back finally. And it makes so much difference. But Quan, please let everybody know where they can go get their own cans of Prickly.
Yep. The easiest way to support us is just to go to www.prickly.com. You can get, you know, your 12 packs there. Subscription is 15% off. You can find us on Amazon. And of course, if you're running around the Northeast from Boston down to New York, we're going to be all around New York City with Cactus Suits. So make sure you stop by, say hi, and give us a hug.
I love it. I love it. Quan, thanks again for being here. Greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you watching to the very end. We'll see you. If you haven't watched Quan on Shark Tank yet, why don't you click up here? If not, I'll see you in the video down below. Take care and go be super.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.